I believe that people within that company betrayed Charlie. Okay. I will say, if you are a rat on a ship, you should probably flee now. I would like to just respond to what is being said objectively rather than to attack Andrew Kolvet's character. The statement objectively feels to me like the manipulation of a Christian audience. There's something about that that I don't like.
Grace and peace, everybody. We are back. You saw the thumbnail. You saw the title. Let's get at it. Candace strikes again. Now she's assuming that she knows what's going on, the inner workings of Turning Point USA. And every day, I think I'm starting to understand a little bit more why she was no longer associated with Turning Point USA. Now, maybe they did have her come on a speaking tour. Maybe they did try to throw her an olive branch and let her come tour with them a couple years back or last year. But I can see why she no longer was in the day-to-day operations. This woman is messy. This is messy.com. Let me bring it in and you let me know what you think.
And the first thing that I think I should make abundantly clear is I am relieved that Erica Kirk is at the head of Turning Point USA, because just like I alluded to last week, and which I will double down on now, I believe that people within that company betrayed Charlie. Okay. That's just what I believe right now. And I want to make sure that I have these facts entirely on my side before.
I'm going to back that up. I want you to listen to it again. And matter of fact, go check out some of the other videos we've done. And I want you to listen for this language. I believe, I feel, my gut, some level of uncertainty. I'm realizing how much Candace does that. She says that a lot, like I feel. And there's no substantiation. And I don't think anybody ever holds her accountable to ever come back and substantiate it. Well, where did you get that from? Can you go back and bring us your resources, your evidence, your artifacts on how you've come to this conclusion that people inside of a company that you don't work for, that maybe you know some people there, but you're not involved in it. How do you know that these people betrayed somebody? That's a kind of grandiose take right there, Candace. How do you make that? Nobody's asking her to show her work, and she gets away with it. Watch this.
First thing that I think I should make abundantly clear is I am relieved that Erica Kirk is at the head of Turning Point USA, because just like I alluded to last week, and which I will double down on now, I believe that people within that company betrayed Charlie. Okay. That's just what I believe right now. And I want to make sure that I have these facts entirely on my side before I tell you guys more.
How about you wait and actually get the facts? See, you wouldn't have to do this. But see, this is the thing. She says this. She adds something in the future. Oh, let me go get my homework. I'll bring it in tomorrow. Don't worry about it. I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. But she'll never actually do it. She'll never actually bring back the evidence to why she's making this claim today. Or if heavens forbid, she finds out that the facts were not true, she's not going to come back and say, oh, by the way, I had this information. I was reading this, but lo and behold, I was reading it upside down. I was reading it backwards. It was the wrong information. I had nothing like that. This will never come back up again. She'll never come back to it.
I will say, if you are a rat on a ship, you should probably flee now. I recommend it. Anyways, you guys, on Friday, we did an episode. I want to be clear, I didn't think that episode was going to have the reaction that it did, but I am grateful. We were unpacking the footage that was going viral of the guy that was taking down the camera, which was directly behind Charlie's head, a mere approximate 4 minutes after Charlie was shot. Everybody thought that it was very suspicious. I recognized the individual and reached out, had a conversation, saw the footage, and made the promise that I was not going to share it. Although I said to you, I encouraged them to share it.
So she saw evidence that the FBI and law enforcement should have access to. Okay.
I believe that the reason everybody is a conspiracy theorist is because people don't share truth, right? Once you share everything, there's no room for conspiracy. And when I was sharing what I saw, I was doing so because I was just thinking that, this could help. Like, this can obviously remove people from their conspiracies.
But people are only in Candace literally winds these people up into conspiracies. She's the one that does it. And then says, oh, I'm just trying to. No, ma'am, you're not trying to shed light. You're not trying to find truth. You're trying to stir the pot. Am I to believe? Because that gentleman right there should probably be in jail if he's sharing evidence that should be with the police, FBI, law enforcement, as it relates to evidence that could potentially help them understand how this assassination happened. But they're just showing it willy-nilly to people. Come on. A, she's not telling the truth and she's lying. B, that person was completely out of pocket. But I'm wondering, I don't believe Candace actually saw this. That's where I'm going to go. I don't believe she actually did. And I'm going to tell you why. I would think that the law enforcement would have already got all of that evidence. And again, heavens forbid this dude is just sharing it with somebody. That doesn't make any sense at all. None whatsoever. Now, maybe he did. Maybe he did. But it doesn't make sense that he would do that, putting all of this in jeopardy by him sharing the information with a former coworker. That's crazy work.
And then it kind of occurred to me that what I shared was a bigger deal than I had imagined by saying that I didn't see any blood. And that is a fact. I did not see any blood. In fact, the only blood that I did see at all, I'm talking about blood on the back, was on Charlie's hand, on Charlie's left hand, which, as many people have been saying, means that the blood moved forward. We don't need to get into all of the gore. But what I didn't expect thereafter was for the Turning Point USA spokesperson, Andrew Kolvert, to issue this statement as people were asking questions like, hey, how is that possible? How was there nothing in the back if this is the gun that was used? Andrew Kolvert tweeted this over the weekend. I want to address some of the discussion about the lack of an exit wound with Charlie. I'm usually not interested in delving into most of this kind of online chatter, and I apologize that this is somewhat graphic, but in this case, the fact that there wasn't an exit wound is probably another miracle, and I want people to know. I just spoke with the surgeon who worked on Charlie in the hospital. He said the bullet, quote, absolutely should have gone through, which is very, very normal for a high-powered, high-velocity round. I've seen wounds from this caliber many times, and they always just go through everything. This would have taken a moose or two down, an elk, etc. End quote. And then now this is Andrew. But it didn't go through. Charlie's body stopped it. I mentioned to his doctor that there were dozens of staff, students, and special guests standing directly behind Charlie on the other side of the tent, and he replied, it was an absolute miracle that someone else didn't get killed. His bone, referring to Charlie, was so healthy and the density was so impressive that he's like the Man of Steel. It should have just gone through and through. It likely would have killed those standing behind him too. In the end, the coroner did find the bullet just beneath the skin. Even in death, Charlie managed to save the lives of those around him. Remarkable and miraculous. End statement. Now, first, I want to say this because people were attacking Andrew Kolvert immediately. I want to say that it is good to remember that this is Andrew Kolvert's literal job, okay? He is a PR agent. He runs a PR company, and his job is to respond to online chatter and online questions. And sometimes it may not even be what you want to say. In fact, it should never actually, if you're good at your job, be necessarily what you want to say. He also was very close to Charlie. So I would imagine that he's under a tremendous amount of pressure. The company is moving into a different direction. We are still just over a week after Charlie lost his life. And he has to be the messenger. Who is directing that message? We don't know, but his job can't be easy at this moment, okay? If I say to my PR agent, I want you to make this statement, he works for the company, my PR person just has to make a statement, okay? So I think I would like to just respond to what is being said objectively rather than to attack Andrew Kolvert's character. That aside, the statement objectively feels to me like the manipulation.
Do you notice another feel comment? Did you notice the feels as well. And now she's disparaging Andrew Kolvert. She's not going to take what he says. Let me back up. And that's why she's ramping it up by saying the PR person has to do whatever they're told to do. So she's throwing the bone out there that somebody's telling Andrew's got his arm twisted behind his back to get him to do whatever it is that they to say this.
Objectively feels to me like the manipulation of a Christian audience, right? They know Charlie's audience is Christian. And therefore, what they're selling to us is you should believe, you're a believer, right? As a Christian, you believe in miracles, right? Like you believe in Christ and the miracles that Jesus performed, right? Well, then you should just believe this. There's something about that I don't like. I don't like that. I don't just, this was a miracle and that should just be the end and no more questions should be asked. Yes, the conservative base is filled with Christians, but also the conservative base is filled with a lot of hunters, okay? People that hunt and they know weapons and they know how weapons work and they know how weapons don't work. And this particular statement to me does not pass the sniff test. Now, again, when I shared that information, I had assumed they were going to say the angle went through this way. I did not imagine they were just going to say that it was a miracle. If you were going to bring me to the argument that this truly was a miracle, it probably would not be in the midst of a circumstance where the feds are lying, right? That is like not now, right?
Y'all, Candace is a piece of work. She's a piece of work, man, for real. And I hate it because I'm not saying that there are not loopholes and gaps and plot holes in these stories that are being told, but it's an active investigation. Candace treats this almost like this is a done deal. It's already finished. So therefore we should be able to get the whole meal, not just courses. And that's not the case at all. I mean, this is a full active investigation. And then lastly, my very last point before we break out of here is, who is Candace besides a muckraker? How does she think that she can insert her I don't believes, I feels, I speculates into an active murder investigation, and people are supposed to yield to that? That is insane. And again, I just keep bringing this up. This is irreverent, silly, foolish babbling. She brings in this foolish, she literally is calling into question that man's character by saying that, well, you know, he's got to say whatever he's told to say. And this just doesn't seem right. Sounds manipulative. He's manipulating the Christians. Man, this is crazy work, y'all. This is crazy work. And I'm just embarrassed for her. And, you know, hey, her audience, her base is going to keep rocking with her. And I don't know why. I have no idea why. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much for helping us hit our goal of 50,000. We're almost there. Looking forward to celebrating real soon. Until next time, everybody. Grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Whitt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment, because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.